In this video, we're going to talk about AI and what's new with Puget Systems. Real quick, you're watching VP Land. Special thanks to our sponsors, Blackmagic, View, and LucidLink for helping make our NAB coverage possible. And now, back to the video. Back here with Matt, Corridor. I'm sorry, not Corridor. Corridor's behind us.
Yeah, they're all over there.
All right, so we're back here with Matt at Puget Systems. Good to see you again, Matt.
Yeah.
So what's been happening lately with Puget Systems?
A lot's been happening. Yeah, I mean, a lot of shows like NAB, of course. Always dealing with new stuff coming out. Big thing that right now we're kind of navigating through is NVIDIA has launched a whole bunch of different GPUs. All the like the consumer GeForce line were all launched from January through very recently. They do like a rolling launch. And then we've also heard now all of the RTX Pro, the Pro line of cards, have also all been announced and should be available pretty soon. So it's a lot of like just new stuff and getting enough that we can put them into our systems for our customers because availability is a little shaky. And just dealing with all of that.
Yeah. What have you? I know you don't have the cards in your hand, but like, what kind of applications do you see that some of these cards would be like best suited for?
So it's actually a pretty broad range. Whenever there's new graphics cards, it's always like, hey, they're faster, cool. That affects kind of everybody, but especially here like NAB, there's a lot of like video editing that like you don't need that top end card. Like once you get up to mid range, it's not really doing much for you for performance.
Right.
But these new cards have more video memory and more people wanting to work with like 8K or virtual production or AI stuff. They want to dabble in it. Great for that. Also too here at NAB, some of the stuff that like most consumers don't care about, but here people do is like hardware decoding support. So some of the things like 422 10-bit support on the NVIDIA cards for both HEVC and H.264. Like H.264, I thought they'd kind of abandoned. No, they added that in, and that's been a much bigger deal than I think a lot of like people who are used to technology or interested in technology. It's actually a bigger deal.
What are some of the uses you've been seeing, like going back to H.264?
Yeah, man, it's just a lot of people with old cameras. So like people do not buy the latest and greatest camera every year. So yeah, imagine that.
You need wide support for all these existing models.
Yeah, you need wide support for all that kind of stuff. There's still, we're hearing a lot of people getting like, old B-roll or like archival footage. Maybe it's been encoded in that for whatever reason. And
but
so,
you found that you've like the performance, but they still need the performance improvements, or it's
it's the performance improvements along with that like hardware decoding support, because the hardware decoding support gives them a massive boost to performance. And I think the biggest thing isn't any one particular, like it supports this exact one or that exact one. The more that it supports, it just means that anything you get, whether it's from a drone or a cell phone or, Adobe stock or whatever, you just know it's going to be fine. Whereas right now, some of the older video cards, you get it's like, oh, this is terrible. And then you have to take the time to like transcode or make proxies and all that kind of stuff. So it just like smooths everything out.
Yeah. And you mentioned AI before. So what kind of applications have you been seeing with like creative teams using AI?
It's been really interesting. I think right now we're kind of over the wave of either AI is awesome, going to solve everything, or AI is going to be terrible and kill everything. We're kind of over that like hype wave, and we're starting to finally see like, okay, where's it actually being useful for? And it's a lot less exciting stuff. It's like metadata tagging or like localization stuff with dubbing and lip syncs. And it's like, it's not as flashy. But I think we've moved past like all of the generative AI stuff. Here's a text prompt, make me a movie. We're past that, finally.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Or like it happens, but it doesn't make anything good.
Not in the professional pipeline that we're talking about here.
No.
Yeah. But I mean, also in the generative space, so we have like Nuke from Corridor doing a Comfy UI demo. So like, where have you seen like the performance benefits with people doing, kind of going all in on generative AI or like doing a lot of specific uses with like Comfy or just other like trying to run AI locally on their system?
I mean, that's a big part of these new cards from NVIDIA, the 50 series Blackwells. It's just straight performance increase for that. The extra VRAM has been helping a lot as well. Because people are actually able to do higher res stuff, or especially with like image generation, it's never right the first time. And so being able to do like shotgun and say like, hey, make me 8. And then you can actually pick, I like that one. Right. So just having that capability, so you're not doing one and then being like, is that good? No, do it again.
Like more outputs in the same time.
Yeah, because that's really, it feels like a lot of that generative AI, it is kind of a shotgun. And like, if you're really good at prompt generation, maybe you don't have to shotgun as much. Most of us are not. And so you kind of have to take that approach. And that's what these newer cards are kind of really allowing people to do is just throw more spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. Yeah.
I've also been seeing more trends with AI, with kind of more the people's knowledge of like training data and where the training comes from, and also like where their data might go. That like on-prem training is picking up interest. So are you seeing that in people getting machines where they can train their own AI model on their own content for either like indexing either indexing reasons or like training an image model where it's like, make stuff that looks like our footage.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, that's been a pretty big increase recently. And I think we're seeing it from two prongs. One, we're seeing a lot of people who started off and they went into the cloud for like the lower cost of startup. They're now starting to come down and wanting on-prem stuff because the higher performance and like the payoff period is pretty short, often as little as like 6 months, and then you just own it. And you're not paying any money to
6 months between the cost of just buying your own system versus what you would pay for your cloud.
For the cloud, yeah. And then it's free after that. So like that's awesome. So I think we're seeing part of it for that. And then like you're talking about like what is it trained on? So like you got to make your own stuff. A lot of the people who are doing that don't really want to put all that data into the cloud also, or they're not allowed to. So yeah, being able to do all that stuff on-prem. That's actually the RTX Pro cards that NVIDIA just announced. So the bigger brothers, I guess, to the GeForce that we've been like dealing with since the beginning of the year. One of those cards, the top end card, is going to have 96 gigs of VRAM. That is going to be awesome for that kind of stuff. It's the kind of thing where like before you were having to buy like the server class, really, really expensive stuff to be able to do any of that. It's going to be a whole lot more approachable now. And that I'm really excited to see what that's going to be able to like let people do for like training their own models and not just like small things, like full on models.
Yeah. Any other trends you're kind of seeing either in AI or just the film production space?
I think the biggest thing, and I've gotten this vibe even here at NAB a little bit, is that we're kind of settling in. Like virtual production was a big thing a couple of years ago and it made a big splash, and then AI is making a big splash. It feels like it's starting to kind of like, level out. Like people are now getting back to, we're having more conversations just about video editing or motion graphics, like normal stuff. And I think that's great because a lot of that hype, it was interesting, but it kind of pulled away from all the conversations we need to be having about like people's day-to-day work. And so being able to just like take it back to like, what are you doing? What do you need your like computer to do in our case? And like, what's going to let you do your work efficiently? If it's AI, great.
I feel like the hype did go up, and then people kind of picked and choose like elements that arose from that, and then it's like, oh, I kind of like this, I like that, and then it kind of fits back into their established workflow, and maybe a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that like Adobe's integrating more of this stuff, like they had in the beta the media intelligence and search, just like being able to search all of your clips.
Which is very practical. Like, I mean, to search my clip by context and find something.
Exactly. And all like the transcription stuff they've been working on. DaVinci Resolve just had their beta 20 release. And like all of that stuff that they're doing. Like
script sync and other useful tools. And
useful tools.
Splitting up audio into tracks or other things that were just kind of like tedious tasks, but help you speed things up.
Yeah, so I think that's the biggest thing I'm getting is that we're starting to find now the useful bits of AI past the hype bits of AI.
Yeah. Well, cool. Appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Matt. And that is it for this video. Thanks again to our sponsors for helping make our NAB coverage possible. And for more of our NAB videos, be sure to check out the playlist right here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode.